The following program, The Lightning Strike, is sponsored by Mohammed Fahim, and to the extent applicable, their guests. The views and opinions expressed therein do not necessarily reflect those of NewsWeb Radio Company or its management.
Get ready to be jolted out of the ordinary and into a world where conversations are charged with intensity and facts. The Lightning Strike Talk Radio with your host, Mohammed Fahim, broadcasting live from the heart of the city on Chicago's Progressive Talk Radio, WCPT 820 AM. Welcome to a radio show that charges through the airwaves with an electricity like no other. Here's your host, Mohammed Fahim.
Good morning. Welcome to the Lightning Strike. Another beautiful day out here in the Chicagoland area. And a happy Father's Day to all our listeners worldwide. With me in the studios, Ken DeLuke.
Howdy, folks.
And also joining us today would be Read Bible, Dr. Sheila White. Our person of the week is Dr. Renata Weaver. And we are going to be talking a lot about the non-parade yesterday. So stay tuned. We want to start off by focusing on why America has no king, right? So yesterday was No King's Day, and have you ever wondered why the United States never had a king, Ken?
I'm sure you're going to tell me.
Well, let's take a quick trip through history and common sense to break down 10 reasons why America proudly said no thanks to monarchy, right? Rejection of tyranny is number one. Let's be real. This whole country started because colonists had it with King George III's tyranny. The revolution was not just about taxes, folks. It was about escaping one-man rule. And by the way, if you want to join the conversation, feel free. Call in. The number is 773-763-9278. Let's look at number 2 on my list. Power to the people. America was built on a radical idea that power should come from the people, not a crown. That's why we vote instead of bowing down. Number 3, checks and balances. A king has absolute power, but here no one gets to run the whole show. That's why we have got Congress, the courts, and a president with limits, the 3 branches, co-equal branches of government. The Constitution, by the way, forbids it. That's the number 4. Our founding document is crystal clear. We are a republic, not a kingdom, folks. No thrones, no crowns, no bullies, just ballots. The U.S. Constitution explicitly creates a republican form of government, Article 4, Section 4. So please keep these notes handy. And number 5, there is no hereditary rule in America. In monarchies, power passes from parent to child. But in America, leadership is earned, not inherited. Let's come down to number 6. There's no elitist castles over here. You may have Mar-a-Lago, but I don't think that's the castle, Ken.
Right.
Okay. So no castle for King Trump. Our founders wanted to scrap Europe's class system, folks. A king would have brought back that old school aristocracy. We said, no way. In America, again, power is shared, not hoarded. Thanks to federalism, states have a say. The king would have centralized everything. We wanted a nation, not a throne room, right? And let's come down to number 8. And let's come down to number 8 now. Look back at history. Monarchies have sparked wars, crushed freedoms, and drained treasuries. The founders got the message loud and clear. We are citizens, not subjects, Ken. That's the most important thing. In America, we are not ruled, we are represented. We don't kneel to power, we question it. And number 10, and not the least, presidents can be voted out.
Yeah, let me expound on that a little bit.
Yeah.
if you look at historically, 1933, Germany was actually a very progressive society. Things were going pretty good from them at that time, and people became complacent. They figured, well, it's not affecting me. I'm not going to worry about this. But history can and will repeat itself if you don't take it seriously. So it's getting to a point now where there's like all the red flags, the warning signals are coming up. Voting is the most important thing you can do. We can't just sit aside anymore. So we have a great situation for 200 and something years here. Let's make sure we don't lose it because some guy wants to be a monarch.
Okay, wonderful. Dr. White, we'll be taking you on in just a minute. I just got so wound up on what happened. We'll take a quick call from Elise and then on Evie, and then we will get Dr. Sheila White and Dr. Renata Weaver on for our Person of the Week. Evie, you're on the air.
Hi, Mohammed. Hi, everybody. Hi, world. Hi, universe. My name's Edie Fendrick, and I have a song for you. And I also got the Pope's phone number. If you could call the Pope.
I have him on speed dial. I'll make sure you do that.
You got the Pope's phone number? That's interesting. How did you get that, Evie?
Lively Phone Company. Want to hear my song? It's about your show.
Yeah, go ahead. We'll
Okay.
Make it a quick one, though.
When lightning strikes twice, you better watch out. Muhammad rocks, and Eve rocks, and the world rocks. Special music for special people rocks the world for every boy and girl. Dream a little dream, real life, rock and roll. Come on, baby, soothe your soul.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, dear, for listening. And share the word. Go out and vote. And before you vote, make sure that you research the candidates that you're voting for. Okay, just don't vote for anyone.
You want the Pope's phone number off here?
Not on the air. We'll get it off the air, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll just have Dylan take it off the air. Thank you so much for calling in. And let's come back. We're going to take an ad break after Dr. White's segment today. So, Dylan, we are a little bit off the schedule on the schedule today. So let's get Dr. Sheila White on. Sheila, good morning.
Good morning, team. Our special guest today is going to be talking about AI technology. There's a lot of myths out there, and there's a lot of good things happening out there. Our guest is Dr. Renata Weaver. We'd like to welcome her to the Lightning Strike on today. Welcome, Dr. Renata.
Thank you so much, Dr. White and Dr. Fahim. Thank you all for having me. And greetings to everyone.
Weaver.
Happy Father's Day.
Dr. Weaver, I am not Dr. Fahim, I am patient Fahim. Someone has to be a patient for all of these doctors to make the money that they make, right?
I guess so. That's so funny.
You know, we're going to have a really good conversation today about AI. A lot of people know about AI. There's a lot of great things happening. Explain to those that do not know about AI, what is it, and some of the benefits of AI.
Okay, so AI, let me start by saying it is not a steak sauce, okay? AI stands for artificial intelligence. So it's not A1 steak sauce, y'all.
Hey, Dr. Weaver. Dr. Weaver, I'm sorry to butt in, but our education secretary actually, Linda, you know what she said, right?
Yeah, A1.
A1, not AI. Okay. I'm sorry, I just couldn't resist it.
I am not the education secretary, but I do AI literacy. And the first thing I teach people is what AI actually stands for. So
and it's not
artificial
A1.
Intelligence. Not A1. Okay, let's get that clear. And also, AI is more than ChatGPT. ChatGPT is a large language model, just like any other model. So there are many, many artificial intelligence models. So I just wanted to get those two things straight. And to answer your question, Dr. White, what artificial intelligence is designed to do is designed to do you, right? If you program it and train it right, it's designed to do you. If you don't program it and train it right, it's going to sound like a robot. And that's what everyone is afraid of, is these robots, non-heart-centered robots taking over. So I come in and teach people how to still have humanity and use AI at the same time.
I'm so glad that you are bringing in that aspect of it, Dr. Weaver, because a lot of people are afraid of AI, and it is not going to take over the world. Of course, generative AI is coming in also. That is so exciting for me as a programmer, as a person, as a business person. I am so thrilled. Ken has a comment that he wants.
Well, actually, I'm kind of concerned. This year's annual AI Expo for the national competitiveness was a hidden race to turn military into Ender's Game. The AI industry is ready to get rich off Trump's Defense Department. So it could go both ways. It could be the best thing that ever happened to humanity, but then again, it could be something that was completely dangerous. Doctor, what's your thought on that?
You know, there are concerns. My first training was going from AI fear to AI fun because there is a lot of fear around AI and a lot of uncertainty, right? Let me share this stat with you, right? Right now we're in the year 2025, and in the year 2025, 50% of all employees will need reskilling due to new technology, but it really gets more intense than that. 70% of workers, their job types will cease to exist, leaving like 1.4 million workers needing to reskill. And so as much fear as you just expressed, my fear is that people are so afraid of AI that they won't take a look at it, and that is what is going to put them out of work because their skills that they're relying on will be antiquated, and they will need to demonstrate that they have these new skills because, unfortunately, this technology isn't going anywhere. But let me tell you something. I have been in social work for 30 years, so I started out in the paper and pencil era, and now, you know, and I've seen the technological changes. I've seen when the internet first started and how we all panicked 30 years ago. Absolutely. And I've seen the changes through the pandemic where we started seeing people at home instead of our office. So I've seen changes over time. So this is just, to me, another big change. And yes, I know the administration is trying to get rich off of it. And I'm just, you know, as a social worker, my concern is people getting displaced out of work because they don't have the skills to keep up.
Well, that is something that I have spent a majority of my life in, is workforce development. And I always tell people that do not be afraid of new technologies coming in. It is always something designed to make our work-life balance better.
I have a question, Dr. Renetta. How can small businesses take advantage of AI? Is it something that's expensive? Can they capitalize on it now to get started?
Yes, thank you for asking that question. So I consult with small businesses all the time, and I say, hey, if you want to stay in business, there are a couple of ways that AI can really help you. First of all, it can save you time, right? Because you might be feeling like, I don't have enough time to get all these things done. So I'm saying if you do something in your business more than 3 times, you can probably establish an AI agent to do that work for you. So it'll free up time for you, and it will free up money for you because you won't have to hire extra staff, and you don't have to fire your staff. You can give them other things to do, right? You can change their tasks because they're no longer running behind trying to keep up. So it'll save you time, money, and, you know, increase your productivity. So
and
what I do for small businesses is...
let me finish off the segment with something else, Dr. Weaver. In the workforce world, there are a number of grants available to employers to upskill their existing workforce. So let's talk offline on that. Sheila has my number, and you and I can probably talk about that as to what kind of assistance government programs can bring into employers to help retain their employees also, okay?
Yes, that would be great.
On that note, folks, thank you so much. This is Dr. Renata Weaver joining us to talk about AI. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back on the other side of the break to talk more about the No Kings Day that happened yesterday and all the things that we should be concerned about with our country.
Injured in an accident? Ticketed for DUI or traffic violations? You need Riz Injury Law on your side. Attorney Riz Ali fights for you, specializing in auto accidents, medical malpractice, slip and falls, traffic tickets, DUI and DWI. Call 312-546-5109 now. That's 312-546-5109. One more time, 312-546-5109. Your story matters, and Riz Injury Law will fight to make sure you get justice. Visit RizInjuryLaw.com or stop by 35 East Wacker Drive, Suite 650 in Chicago, Illinois, 60601. That's Riz Injury Law. Justice, compensation, results. Call 312-546-5109.
Welcome back to the Lightning Strike with Mohammed Fahim.
Good morning, folks. Welcome back to the Lightning Strike. Mohammed Fahim here in the studios with me, Ken DeLuke. Dr. Sheila White had just called in. We've got our regular panel up there. Read Bible would be joining us shortly. And No Kings Day yesterday was phenomenal. There were about 5 million people, Ken, out in about 2,000 cities nationwide protesting against the dunce in the White House that we have right now.
Well, wasn't 600,000 of those people watching the president's birthday parade?
Okay. If you look at some of the visuals that came out of the parade, there was hardly any people out there. The president is claiming, as usual, that there were 250,000 people. Now, I was listening to a reporter on NPR this morning who said that maybe he saw about 10% of the people had MAGA hats on. The other people had really come out to see all those, the display of the tanks and the military might of the country, not so much the dunce sitting at the head of the table over there trying to preside over this. Let's take a quick listen to what some of the people had to say in one of the protests that I had gone to in Shorewood. If you could just play the clip, Dylan.
Supposed to be 2,000 protests around the country today.
That sounds about right. I heard there are other, people out in Jefferson and Larkin and things like that. It's good.
I like your hat. Can I take a picture of it?
Sure can.
Okay, No Kings in America. Where'd you get that from?
A friend ordered it for me. She had one. I said, I want one.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome.
From, I think, off Amazon.
And you're here because you don't want any kings, right?
Correct. Yeah, and for my good Father's Day activity to, push democracy for grandkids and kids.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay, folks. So good Father's Day activity to push democracy for kids and grandkids. And you heard the people driving by and honking, Ken?
Yeah.
I mean, I stayed there for about an hour, and this was so phenomenal to see the response from the people. In Naperville, I'm told, folks, that there were about 10,000 people gathered in Naperville for No Kings Day. And this is getting quite a bit of legs on it now. If you want to join the conversation, the number to call in is 773-763-9278. And let's get Read Bible on the way now. Read, good morning.
Good morning, Mohammed and Ken and the Lightning Strike team. Good morning to all of our listeners.
Yeah, how was the No Kings Day where you are, Read?
Well, before I get into that, Mohammed, real quickly, if you guys will indulge me, I just want to say Happy Father's Day to all those of you out there who are fathers. And as a grandfather myself, I hope you'll indulge me in wishing congratulations to my granddaughter, Natalie Larson, who graduated from Northwestern University in Evanston yesterday with bachelor's degrees in psychology and biological sciences. Now, I got that out.
Wow. Congratulations.
Well, she's lucky she graduated now because Northwestern just got cut $7 million in funding from the U.S. government.
Yeah, congratulations, Natalie. Hey, Reed, by the way, I heard coming in that, what's his name, Elon Musk is asking all his 14 children to give back the shares that he gave them as a Father's Day gift.
Amazing. Well,
I just made that up. I just made that up out of no cloth at all.
I kind of thought that was a little far-fetched. I can't see Musk doing that. Because they have to have their talk. But as you guys know, yesterday President Trump threw himself a Stalin-esque type of Republican Guard military review in Washington, D.C. And as you mentioned, the attendance appeared to be rather sparse. And perhaps that's because millions of Americans were outside of D.C. Involved in No King's Day protests. And those protests sounded a little bit like this.
Wow.
And they also sounded a little bit like this. So,
folks, yep, it is amazing, Reed. One of the things that I would really want our people to do, all of these protesters that are coming out, if they can come out and vote when elections are there, I think we will pretty much have no kings ever in America. What do you say?
Oh, I have, absolutely. And this was a very interesting demonstration. You know, I attended one yesterday in front of the Foley Federal Building here in downtown Las Vegas. I had the opportunity to interview several protesters. What was remarkable was that there were so many of them that were first-time protesters, and I heard about this from friends in my country, first-timers out there, because they've had enough. One of them that I talked to was a retired private contractor with the federal government, and this is what he had to say as to why he's out there.
Good morning, Lightning Strike fans. This is Reed out in front of the Las Vegas Federal Building, and I'm with a first-time protester, and I want to ask him the question what brought him out. Sir, this is the first time I understand you've been at a protest, and may I ask you what specifically compelled you to come out today?
That it's against Trump. There are so many things that we could talk about. It's just time to stand up, time to get people out here to protest what's going on with our government. He's so he's denying due process.
And again, folks, I apologize for the quality of the audio. Reed was recording this in an open area, so there's a lot of wind noise out there. But that gives you guys a flavor for how people are sick and tired of the Trump administration just in the first 100 days and going forward. Reed, thank you so much for going out and meeting the people like that.
Yeah, there were about 5,000 of them, Muhammad, and I had a chance to talk to some other ones too. If we have time to it, I can play you another interview from an anthropology professor at the University of Southern Nevada. She had quite a bit to say about it too.
Of course, please stay on for the rest of the program, and because I want to make this the focus of the whole show today. And I've got Marie Newman, former Congresswoman, joining us also in just a minute to talk about what she feels about this No King's Day. But Reed, if you could please stay on, and we'll bring in the rest of your interviews in the next segment also, okay?
Be happy to.
Wonderful, folks. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back on the other side of the break with more conversations on this. You're tuned in to the Lightning Strike. I'm your host, Muhammad Fahim. With me in the studios, Ken DeLuke. Maria Muzaffar is not joining us today. She is traveling. We got Dr. Sheila White, who joined us. Also, she's in an assignment in the field doing another program. But let's take a quick break and be back on the other side of the break with Congresswoman Marie Newman.
Injured in an accident? Ticketed for DUI or traffic violations? You need Riz Injury Law on your side. Attorney Riz Ali fights for you, specializing in auto accidents, medical malpractice, slip and falls, traffic tickets, DUI and DWI. Call 312-546-5109 now. That's 312-546-5109. One more time, 312-546-5109. Your story matters, and Riz Injury Law will fight to make sure you get justice. Visit RizInjuryLaw.com or stop by 35 East Wacker Drive, Suite 650 in Chicago, Illinois, 60601. That's Riz Injury Law. Justice, compensation, results. Call 312-546-5109.
Welcome back to the Lightning Strike with Mohammed Fahim.
Good morning, folks. Welcome back to the Lightning Strike. Beautiful day out there. Happy Father's Day to all our listeners, and happy Grandfather's Day also. Reed has got his granddaughter who just graduated from Northwestern, and Natalie, I believe, was her name. And congratulations, Natalie. We got Congresswoman Marie Newman joining us. Good morning, Marie.
Good morning, and happy Father's Day, my friend.
Thank you so much. And Marie, it was such a wonderful, wonderful display of public anger yesterday. What say you?
Yeah, you know what? Anger and celebration of real Americans and real patriots. What I saw is Team America coming out and coming together in a really positive way, and demonstrating that we will not put up with toxicity and the complete ruin of our country. So even in my little town of LaGrange, we had 2,500 people out there. The estimates I'm seeing, you may have seen, nationally, they're saying at least 5 million, could be closer to 10 million. So we are in it, and we are going to be successful in taking this country back.
Well, there were 10,000 people in Naperville yesterday, Marie.
Woohoo!
Yeah, Naperville just blew the lid off of the Trump bandwagon. Thousands in Joliet. It was like packed, and I was in Shorewood in front of a senior citizens' home, the Timbers, and the senior citizens had organized a No King's Day in front of their facility, and they brought in their grandkids also. And it was just phenomenal to see the response of people driving back also.
I love it. I saw a lot of pictures of senior citizens getting out there, and I thought that was spectacular.
Yep. So, Marie, how do we carry this momentum forward going into the midterms?
Yeah, this is infectious now. So we've done this twice. We've shown the far-right extreme that we can do this at the drop of a hat, right? So they know how powerful this movement is. They are scared. When you hear Speaker Mike Johnson say things like, look, if the House and the Senate get overturned, or even just the House, Trump will be impeached and we'll all be gone. They know how significant this is. So we should all congratulate ourselves and say, okay, we have a movement on our hands. Good, check, that's done. We got to keep it up and keep the momentum up. We got to keep doing all the things, calling our friends in red states and telling them to call their senators and let them know that when they call to their red state senator's office, I will not ever vote for you, and I will work very hard to get you out if you take away any level of Medicaid, Social Security, or Medicare. Period. Keep it simple. And I think that we're in the right space at the right point, going towards 26.
Marie, what do you think the odds are of a big, better bill passing the Senate?
Sadly, I think it's probably a 60%. It's more than half for sure. Like, here's just to remind everybody procedurally what may or may not happen is that right now they have the House version of the bill that they're picking apart and changing. If they change it to a significant level or try to add policy, the parliamentarian will step in and prevent them from doing that. If it is changed at any significant level, it does have to be rewritten and go back to the House for a vote. If it is only minor changes, then they could pass it somewhat as is. And I'm hearing every side of it. So, it will be, but I do think there is a decent chance they will pass it.
Well, and when the midterms happen and we take back the House, Marie, I think most of these things can be reset back to where they were before this travesty of legislation going on, right?
Well, that's the problem, right, is that some of it can be reversed and some of it will take generations, and I'm not exaggerating. So rebuilding U.S. aid will take, decades. Rebuilding, if they gut Medicaid and we shut down hospitals, that takes years and years and years, right? So all of the NIH funding that they've taken away, because what they're doing in this bill is a reminder, they're codifying the DOGE cuts. So it's not just that they're going to gut Medicaid, they are codifying the DOGE cuts. So we really have to understand the generational damage that they're doing, and it will take a long time. Now, on the positive side, we can reverse a good bit of it and reconstitute some things and get things moving again.
Wonderful. On that note, Marie, thank you so much for joining us again. You bring a ray of sunshine and a ray of lightning into our discussions every time that you join us.
Marie, real quick,
Well,
do you think that with these protests and everything, the anti-King movement, don't you think that there's a better chance that maybe the Senate might wake up on this, or do you think it's already too late?
I do. Yeah, I do think that they're seeing it. It is really about, because they think that we're all just a bunch of paid activists, right? They really are very deluded. You have to understand, people that live in Washington, like Thune and Durasoso and Kennedy and all those guys, they all think that we're all paid. They truly believe that in their heart. So what we still need everybody to do is call their red state friends and tell them to call their senators and tell them not to cut Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security. So it will have some effect, but sadly, they live in their own little bubble.
Well, thank you so much, Marie, and we'll continue to push on this. That's where we are coming in with the media aspect of it, educating people. That's Congresswoman Marie Newman joining us, folks, and let's go to the phone lines. And we got Al from Franklin Park wanting to share his experience with the No Kings rally. Good morning, Al. You are on the Lightning Strike.
Good morning. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to you, too, and thank you so much for holding on, my friend.
No problem. What I have heard with Congress is that we still need to be calling Congress, that we're not giving them enough calls on this bill. We got to be flooding the phone lines right now, everybody, because they need to hear from us. I was in Arlington Heights, and it was a very positive experience, and lots of great people all there in solidarity. I was there with the Northwest Suburban Organizing for Action Indivisible, and we had a giant Trump chicken that was pretty good, and they put a sign on it that said "Taco Trump always chickens out," and I'd say the turnout was very good, and I was very happy I went. But then, you get back, and I get let down because you don't see enough coverage of this on TV. You turn on some of the right-wing radio and the right-wing Christian nationalist TV, and you hear how they are handling everything, and we're just really up against a monster that we got to continue to come together. And then I laughed when she said that we can bring these together on a dime, which is true. We got we got the people there, but boy, there's a lot of work that has to go into organizing these, and we have to get better at organizing quickly and getting people out, because it's just, you know, we're in a battle. We're you know, this was one inning of the game. We got to be ahead in the innings and just keep going forward.
Well, Al, thank you so much. And like I said, each one of us have to do our part. Okay, talk to your friends, talk to your neighbors. This has to be a grassroots effort. Unfortunately, our Democratic Party leadership has not taken the leadership positions that they should have taken. They are all waiting. I don't know what they are waiting for, but most of them are just trying to retain their seats in Congress and not rock the boat. And that is something that I'm going to be exposing. I don't mind talking about differences and changes. We have to bring change, and that can only be brought about by holding people accountable for their actions when we elect them to represent us. So thank you for your call, Al. Let's take a quick look and see what Roosevelt has to say. Good morning, Roosevelt.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you so much.
First
Happy
of all,
Father's Day to you too.
First of all, I want you guys. I didn't watch the birthday party parade, but I watched parts of the reports that they were sending to me via YouTube. Midas Touch Network. I recommend it highly. They're number one. They're number one in the nation as podcast. They took over for that knucklehead that follows Trump, the guy from the UFC. What's his name? Oh, God, I can't think of his name. Anyway, so this is what I saw. I saw Trump down. What I mean by down, he looked like he was going to cry for a minute and a half. Okay, and also it was reported, guys, and I'm surprised you guys haven't mentioned it.
He fell asleep.
You could count them on one hand the number of not followers under his cabinet that were there. To be specific, the drunk guy, you know who that is, the guy that came from Fox News. Also, Rubio, you got to pay attention to Rubio. It was just a few seconds. He didn't want to be there. He was very uncomfortable. He was next to the other knucklehead, McMahon, the woman, the wife of Vince McMahon.
Linda.
Yeah, you guys got
the A1 person. I call her A1. She called AI as A1, Roosevelt. Come on, man.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, so you guys got to watch that. Also, I want to thank Chicago. Chicago was the epicenter of everything that was happening, and I'm surprised you guys didn't bring the Pope, because that coincided with everything else, and it took away from Trump. I didn't see no more than 1,000 people, and that's what on the ground they were reporting. There were people taking videos. They were there just to take videos, and people were making fun of Trump. And the number of cities, I believe it was 2,100, and I believe approximately 5 million people all around.
Yeah,
and I want to report this. I think I mentioned this before on your name, Mohammed, and that is that I'm Mexican American. ICE are starting to stop kids simply for the color of their skin. I saw it. I saw the videos that were taken in L.A. yesterday, the day before yesterday. So they continue to stop kids simply because. And I saw one particular kid. He goes, "Hey, why are you arresting my homie? He was born here. So was I." And he takes his wallet out, and ICE was arresting him. So this is continuing.
Well, this whole thing is so out of control, Roosevelt. Thank you so much for your call. We got a senator, United States senator, getting thrown on the ground and arrested, and Kristi Noem lies through her teeth. That he never identified himself. And by the way,
it's on video. You can see him identifying himself.
And by the way, if you go back and listen to what she said, Ken, she said, "I wore a sexy outfit to that press conference." Can you believe it? I mean, she has said that on TV, man. Okay. Roosevelt, thank you for your call.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Quick break, folks. We'll be back with some more audio from the protests. Reed has got another clip that we'll play. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be back on the other side of the break.
Injured in an accident? Ticketed for DUI or traffic violations? You need Riz Injury Law on your side. Attorney Riz Ali fights for you, specializing in auto accidents, medical malpractice, slip and falls, traffic tickets, DUI and DWI. Call 312-546-5109 now. That's 312-546-5109. One more time, 312-546-5109. Your story matters, and Riz Injury Law will fight to make sure you get justice. Visit RizInjuryLaw.com or stop by 35 East Wacker Drive, Suite 650 in Chicago, Illinois, 60601. That's Riz Injury Law. Justice, compensation, results. Call 312-546-5109.
Welcome back to the Lightning Strike with Mohammed Fahim.
Welcome back to the Lightning Strike. I'm your host, Mohammed Fahim. With me in the studios, Ken DeLuke.
Howdy.
And we got Reed Bible calling all the way in from Nevada, our regular correspondent, and we'll be having Carl Moose joining us shortly. Reed, you want to play that one clip that you had again from the protests?
I'd be happy to, Mohammed and Ken. This is a statement from another one of those more seasoned but not paid protesters here in the purple state of Nevada. She's a college professor, and this is what she had to say.
This is Reed at the Federal Building in downtown Las Vegas with another protester, and she has finally consented to meet with me. Ma'am, can I ask you, is this the first time you ever attended a protest? No, it is not. It isn't. Okay, well, what specifically is the reason for you to come out this week today?
Oh, okay, I've lived in Vegas for 26 years, so we're not afraid of it. Just the humidity. But I can't believe this is the country that I grew up in. I can't believe the country that champions free speech and freedom. And I can't believe someone stand by without the courage of conviction to stand for what they stand on and for what we all believe in.
A lot of energy back there. Reed. Thank you so much for going out and doing this. And that's what I saw, folks, in the streets over here in the Chicagoland area also. A lot of energy. Let's bring that energy to the polls when it happens, okay? And let's bring in Carl Moose now to join us. And Carl, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Thank God we survived the weekend, right? Happy Father's Day.
This has been a very intense discussion today, Carl, so thank you so much for holding on. So AI and robotic dogs, what do you have to do on that thing now? I heard about AI-powered girlfriends, but robotic dogs?
Yeah, so they have these new pets out there. They're little robots, and they look really lifelike. I mean, it's amazing. And my daughter, who loves pets, was telling me all about it. And so I did a little bit of research about, just science and technology, robotics. We hear a lot about AI, and, great conversation earlier about that, but also, how robotics play into it. And, it's, there's the obvious things where we have manual control and, teleoperation of these different, robots, whether they're dogs or drones or even micro and nano robotics that are helping, us with all kinds of technology. And there's something called cobotics, right? These are what's called collaborative robotics that actually can help us in our daily jobs or research and science and everything else. And it's pretty amazing what what's going on there. And there's something we hear a lot about AI, but there's also something called AR, which is augmented reality. And AR technology can provide visual guides and overlays of what we're actually doing, whether it's in a factory or in operation of different devices, or even in the operating room. So it's pretty amazing stuff that's going on with regard to robotics.
Carl, we are living in a world that is so fascinating. I wish more people would pay attention to the phenomenal world that we are living in today, and make sure that our political leadership allows us to have a freedom-filled life. These guys are trying to, break us down in every which way possible, and we have to be very cognizant of that also. Thank you so much for bringing in this information to us.
Hey, Carl, can you give me a link on how I can buy a robotic dog?
I don't have it with me, but yeah, and they're pretty amazing. I mean, these things look real. If I can get that for you, Ken, no problem.
And I think the biggest advantage is, remember the Pet Rock at one time, Carl?
That was Robotic Dog 1.0.
Yeah, okay. I mean, you don't have to feed it, you don't have to clean up after it, you don't have to take it out for a walk in winter. Okay. And you call the dog and it just comes to you. We just want to make sure that it doesn't lift up its leg when it comes to you, though. Does it do that too?
Yeah, well, it's pretty amazing. These things are programmed. I mean, if you were across the room and you saw it walking, you'd think it was a real dog. But Mohammed, you bring up a good point. Technology is something that everybody should have access to, and the government should really stay out of it, right? I mean, because when you have innovative thinkers and you have diversity in what people can bring to the table, that's where everybody benefits.
Thank you so much, Carl. And we'll finish off the show on a very different note today. Ken.
Yes, as most of you have heard, Brian Wilson recently passed from the Beach Boys. For many of you who don't know, we're in the Chicago area. Brian actually had a house in St. Charles, Illinois, and I was lucky enough to actually visit there with my good friend Frank Pappalardo, who is on the phone right now, and he's going to tell us a little bit about Brian. He is actually producing and engineering the last Beach Boys album, and he's got a few things he wants to reminisce about on Brian's behalf.
And by the way, Frank actually helped us put our studio over here together also. Thank you, Frank.
You're welcome.
Go ahead, Frank. Tell us about Brian.
Yeah, so I met Brian when he was 57 years old. He had moved to St. Charles, and we immediately started working on the Imagination album. There was a really extensive studio in the basement of his house. Even went to the trouble of digging deeper in the basement, so there was 9-foot ceilings. We worked on that album. Brian had sang all the parts, and we used Nashville musicians that had flown in and played. And in my opinion, it's one of his best solo works, aside from the Beach Boys. And I went on to be the front of house engineer on his first tour, which was really a neat thing because, Brian had not been out on tour for years. He stopped touring with the Beach Boys very early in their career. So it was sort of a big deal. And we even went to Japan on that tour. And in Japan, he had never been there before, and it was kind of fun. It was almost like you could understand what the Beatles felt like. There were people waiting around everywhere to see him, people waiting at the train stops. It was something. So I'm very lucky and very blessed that I was able to be part of his music.
So that final album that you helped produce, Frank, any chance of that being released? And when can
I hope so. And I'm the engineer. The producer was Brian and Joe Thomas. They were the producers. I was the engineer. Okay. And I hope it does get released. I'm optimistic. It's pretty much done. It was done over the course of 11 years, and it's got some great music on it and some great songs. And it would be a shame if it did not see the light of day, but I'm optimistic. I think it will come out, and it's a great loss. Brian, obviously one of the icons of modern music in the world, and he will be missed.
There was another great musician who passed away also at the same time, like Sly. I'm trying to remember his full name.
Sly Stone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So same age, I believe, about 82.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yep.
I think that was the age, yeah.
Yep, so we lost two great music icons, folks, and you never know, man. Life is so precious. You guys heard about the big crash in India, about the Air India 787 flight? The Flight 171.
Yeah.
242 people killed in less than 60 seconds. The flight took off, and then it just face-palmed down onto a medical hostel. And
next flight I go on, I'm getting in seat 11A.
Yep. 30 people.
How did that one guy survive? That's crazy.
30 people died in that hostel also. So there's like over 270 people that perished who did not know what was going to hit them, like within 60 seconds of taking a flight. So life is very precious, folks, and appreciate the folks that are around you while you still have them. Appreciate your parents. If you have parents, Father's Day should be every single day. Mother's Day should be every single day, not once in a year. Appreciate your parents.
Frank, real quick, is there any something you could share with us with Brian that wasn't actually music related? Some memory that you have that really sticks out?
Yeah, well, he had an amazing memory for the things he recorded. Like one day I was in the studio with him, and it was just me and him, and I asked him, Brian, on Good Vibrations, was that 4-track recording or were there 8 tracks? And he looked at me and said, oh, that was 8-track because tambourine was on 8 and cello was on 7. And he proceeded to name the entire track sheet from 50 years ago.
Wow.
Pretty amazing. And then the last one, I asked him a question. Hey, when did you write The Little Girl I Once Knew? And I was expecting an answer like, 1963. But instead the answer was, well, that was May 15th of 1963. I was at my mom's upright piano in Hawthorne, and Mike Love was standing next to me, and we just wrote it that afternoon. It's like, whoa.
That is amazing. That is amazing. Most people don't understand that musicians are like, walking computers, right? I mean, they have this thing going on all the time in their heads, and we just tend to take it easy that other guy's a musician. Oops.
I can't remember the whole year of 1969.
Okay. Ken can't remember what happened to him yesterday. Okay.
Well, me neither. I mean, short-term memory goes first.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing your memories.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it.
Frank.
You guys have a great Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to everybody. And folks, again, we got about 3 minutes to wrap up the show. If you want to join the conversation, it is 773-763-9278. That's the number to call in, 773-763-9278. We can take about maybe one more call before we end the show today. But again, going back to what we were talking about, Father's Day, Mother's Day should be every day for us over here. Appreciate your parents, folks. They're not going to be around forever. Always remember that life is so fragile. It can pass by in just a second. So every day, just make a call. At least make a call to your parents. Ask them how their day is and if they would like to have anything that they would like you to do for them, right? You are tuned into the Lightning Strike. My name is Mohammed Fahim. With me in the studios today, Ken DeLuke. Also joining us, Dr. Sheila White, Read Bible, Congressman Murray Newman, Carl Moose, our science and technology correspondent, and Dylan in the studios. Thank you so much.
And Frank Pappalardo.
Frank Pappalardo joined us today. And stay tuned. Do go back to our website, tlschicago.com, and watch us, listen to us over there, and do support the show. On that note, thank you all so much. Have a very good Father's Day, folks.
Ciao.